welcome everyone to this month's interview, our In Conversation series, this month with the wonderful Rosie Sahanna from the Upper House in WA. Rosie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, my pleasure. You and I have had the opportunity to meet before face to face. And even though I'm based in Sydney and you're based in WA, we met in Cairns.
Yeah, really, a long way for me, a long way.
It was a long way from my home as well, but it was
Very nice.
It was such a fabulous introduction that I was just so determined to have you join us as part of this series. So I'm going to pause and acknowledge that I am doing this interview on the lands of the Gadigal people, and I would like to pay my respects to elders past, present, and to future leaders emerging, and to also acknowledge all the amazing women alumni who are part of the Women for Election community from First Nations communities as well. Now, Rosie, you have a fascinating story getting into politics, and I really want to share that with all of our community. Tell me your journey into political office. What was it like for you?
Well, I guess it was for me at a state level. I've always been involved in local politics, Aboriginal politics for a very long time. But you know, my journey into where I am today was quite surprising. I guess I was asked if I wanted to run for the 2021 elections, and because it was on a number 4 ticket, and there was no expectation that I would get in. And that was for the upper house. So I put my hand up anyways. There was like I said, no expectation, and there was I still had a job if I didn't get in, but surprisingly, hey, I got in. So I think everybody was surprised. So more so myself. So yeah, that was my journey into state politics where I am today. So that's a whole new level for me. So.
Had you ever run at the state level before?
No, this is my first time, and I actually, unbeknown to me, when I got in, I became the first Indigenous person in the upper house. So that was quite surprise, I guess, a big surprise to me, because I had no idea. Because I guess when it's voting, you just go and vote for the people that for the party that you support, and you see government people over the years, and I mean, I've actually taken notice and over the years, but never really wanted to get involved at that level. It was kind of like, no, there are better people out there that's more qualified than me to do that job. So it didn't, I've never wanted to get to this level. That was a big surprise. So I'm quite happy where I am. So it's quite a place to be.
Happy enough that you're going to run in the next state election, I assume.
I'm going to put my hat in, and again, see what happens. Might be another surprise, but we don't know until that happens, I guess.
Well, exactly. But that shows me it's been a positive experience for you, not a negative one.
Oh, no, it's been a very, very positive. Very positive.
Wonderful. I'm so glad to hear.
Yeah, it's very positive. And the upper house is majority women. So, but we're in the upper house, that Labor Party members is very diverse. So we have not just the diversity of women, but nationality. So, I'm the first Aboriginal person in the upper house, and we have a first Sudanese.
Yes.
And one of the other members are Serbian, Canadian, and Scottish. And the other guy's Chinese, and then the rest Australians. I mean, including myself, but I'm the Indigenous one. So yeah, it's great. It's beautiful. It's great.
And it's very inspiring to see that diversity, and certainly it's not lost on Women for Election that when the public see that kind of diversity, they have a greater trust in the institution, but they also feel like that it's something that they can get involved in as well when they see more people that they recognize and are like them. So I'm glad the experience has been positive. One thing you said there about you were always involved in local government. Was that at the council level, at the land council level? What?
At the yeah, with Kimberley Land Council for that matter. But I've sat on a lot of boards of my, in my working time, and that got me really involved with Indigenous affairs because I'm very passionate about Indigenous affairs. For me, being where I am now is about promoting that voice, Indigenous side of that flavor, different. They've never had an Indigenous person, so
Yeah.
you have one in the upper house now. So I bring that indigenous experience in there. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been really, really great.
Well, I think the lived experience that you bring to the role is something that's very inspiring for the different alumni and community and candidates that Women for Election are supporting currently and into the future, no doubt. But you said that you hadn't really considered running at the state level yourself, and it sounds like it took somebody else in the first instance suggesting that you go on the ticket. Do you think there was a specific defining moment that made you want to say yes to that opportunity when it presented? Did you
I
consider
think,
saying
yeah.
no?
No, actually, I jumped at it, really. I didn't hesitate. I
Love
think I kind of jumped in, sink or swim kind of thing. So um, I that was the defining moment for me, was actually accepting it.
Right.
So and there was no looking back. It's win or lose. I'm not going to lose anything if I don't get it. I still got a job.
Yep.
But watching the elections and the results on that Saturday night was very surprising to see that I did get it, and I didn't want to believe it. And I think it sunk in the Monday after the election that I finally accept the fact that I actually got in. But yeah, I mean, it was, and the other defining part, the defining moment was actually accepting the nomination to go into that. And the guy that asked me was he explained that there's no expectation. You're on a number of ticket, you may not get in. And I said, well, that's all right. I've got nothing to lose. I just wanted to chuck my hat in anyways and hope for the best. And I guess I got the best.
It did. And for those listening to this, who might not necessarily understand, like when you're running for the upper house, you can be number one position, number two, number three, 4, 5, 6, on the ticket, with, I guess, an expectation that typically 1 and 2 on the ticket will definitely get elected. And if you get more votes than you expected, then possibly 3 and then possibly 4. So, but 4 on the ticket is unusual. So
Yeah, it is. Sorry, it was at that time. There was no guarantee at all. So, but
yeah.
putting my hat in as well. I guess the flip side of that decision, that defining moment, was I think I left it too long to actually get involved at that stage. But as everyone know that there are different there are factions in all. It doesn't really matter which political party you're in. There are
Yep.
factions. So and that's how it works to get in. You got to be part of a faction to get in. So someone, yeah. So, but hey, I'm here now. I mean, my term finishes next year, and I am going to throw my hat in again, see what happens.
I love that.
But the downside for me was getting involved too late because of my experience in Aboriginal affairs. But I've worked as a public servant for 25 years of my life, and the rest of the time has been Aboriginal organisations and NGOs. So I spent a lot of my time working and doing policies, you know, where in places where, like the child protection for that matter. That was my biggest passion, really. I spent 15 years in that department, and you know, we had a working party that developed policies for the Aboriginal, for Indigenous, you know, how to work with Aboriginal people. So I mean, that was the that got me into politics, really. And I guess I'm very much well. Also, the fact that I'm a descendant of stolen generation, my dad was taken away, so that that certainly was a motivation to get involved.
Yeah,
And
I
then I
think
was in the department for 15 years, so you know, we was very passionate about putting policies in place that doesn't happen again. So.
well, I could absolutely see, and again, about not just your intellect and your knowledge in the policy space, but also your family's lived experience that then informs you, motivates you to get involved. I'm so curious, Rosie. I mean, you said that your biggest regret, this plays against the trope that we're often told as women in Australia, is that you wouldn't want to get involved because it's too toxic or something like that. But your biggest regret is not getting involved sooner.
Yeah, it's true. You know, I mean, where I come from, it's dominated by male. You know, men always are the ones out there. You know, and I think the last 10, 12 years or so, there's a shift in women now, you know, coming out and you know, they're empowering themselves to step up and take some leading roles. And I actually think that's really great to see, because where I come from here in the Kimberley, there's some really great young people coming. I mean, not just young people, but women still around that can empower young women, you know, to bring them out and mentor them, I guess. But I honestly have faith that myself being in Parliament right now, mentally I can picture the chamber, where the upper house being full of Indigenous kids. I mean, future leaders in there. That's what I, in my head, think. You know, well, I'm just one here right now, but give it 10 years time, and you're going to find the table's going to turn, and you're going to have more Indigenous in there, like non-Indigenous.
Yeah.
So, and I'd love to be around to see that happen, because that's my thing. Yeah.
Well, I hope we can help achieve that. Women for Election will be in the Kimberleys in late July this year. So it's fully our intent to help empower First Nations women, young women as well, to see themselves as those future political leaders. So tell me, I mean, you entered state parliament in 2021. What is it that you're most proud of that you've managed to achieve so far in your term in office?
Actually, I'm very proud of being part of a party that really prioritizes women and diversity. That's one thing I really love about the Labor Party. They're really good at that. You know, and they allow you to do your community work, get involved. And because I've worked in the field with the elders and youth, and I became involved in that. So I've worked for the last, since I got in with an Aboriginal organisation here that I worked with prior to becoming a PM. I'm sorry, not PM, MP.
One day.
One day. No, it's too late for that. But anyways,
no, it's not.
Yeah, I work in coordinating the elders forum we run here every year. So you know, and the youth is also that I'm very passionate about. But really, the elders forum that I have worked in, are working in for my term, and really I was really passionate about the WA Heritage Act, which I had the pleasure of working alongside the DPLH staff here. You know, I mean, because the consultation started 2018, and we just, you know, spent about 18 months of the last 2 years going back consulting with people again before we actually got it through, but then it got appealed. So that was the downside of that. But that was for me, that was something I was very proud of, representing the government, going around to the communities, working with the staff and the people on the Heritage Act. So, you know, that's those three things, but also the fact that this role allows me to continue to do what I've been doing prior to becoming here, is being involved and you know, and promote the party where I can. So it's my experience and knowledge, I guess, that have got me to where I am today. So, and I use, you know, accordingly.
I think the role of a good politician isn't about taking you out of community, is it?
No.
It's about doing great things for community, and again, sometimes I think that's the mistake that some, or the media sometimes portray about you get taken from here to an ivory tower, but a good politician is still led by doing good for the community, not led by ego. So, and that's what I hear.
That's right. You know, you've got to keep in touch with your community that you represent, regardless of where you are at that party. Otherwise, you lose yourself. Then you gotta have that contact with them. You know, that's it for me. Really, I actually quite enjoy it. I actually love it.
Oh, I'm so glad, Rosie. Look, I only have one more question for you today for this interview, before I see you on the ground when we are in Broome. But why is it important to you that we have greater diversity, and that's both gender diversity and cultural diversity in our political chambers? And that could be Canberra, state or council. Why is it important to you?
Look, you know, as Aboriginal person, you know, we have to live in both worlds. We live in both worlds. You know, we live in the Western world, but we also got our own world that we have to balance it too. So I believe that that diversity, what's the word shall I use? It combines that the knowledge of everyone. For me, it's like diversity for me is learning about each other. So, you know, that's the beauty of the upper houses, the diversity, especially my good friend, she's Scottish. So I'm learning about her heritage and her background, and the Sudanese, you know, we call each other, you know, because we're both black people, you might also say, and we're like, you know, we're like sisters from a different mother, but the diversity brings the it kind of should I say it demonstrates unity, also diversity, because everyone is, and I can only speak for who I am now, everybody acknowledges your diversity and respects you. So in Indigenous thing, they, you know, they respect that I'm Indigenous. Anything Aboriginal first. If they got any question, they will ask me. So if it's down to what the language name is or how to say it. So, but you know, and the women's side, I think it's just so important. I think women have been in the back for a very long time. I guess we're kind of raised to be that person in the kitchen, raising the kids, and not, you know, and I can that's what I like, being raised by my parents, and that was my mom's job. And she, you know, she worked late in life, but her main role was being home, cook, clean, get the kids to school, whatever. And my dad was the breadwinner. So, but there's a big shift in that now. There's a lot of young girls now. The flip side of that, you know, they flipped a coin on the other side. And they're kind of out there now and really wanna take control. And I think it's time that they do, you know. And I think I said to my colleague Davina, she's the Kimberley rep here.
Yep.
I think I said to her that the leadership of the Kimberley will be the women. If there's going to be any change, it's going to be the women that's going to make it.
Yep.
And I firmly believe that there's strong women, old and young, that working together, and that age gap between that. I think a lot of young people are actually listening now, you know, and it's just inspiring, really. I mean, I
Oh,
say that from my own daughters. She's learned a lot from that conference in Cairns,
oh,
but
good.
you know, she's been involved with the land council working over there, so she knows a bit about the politics of it all. And I just say to her, the difference is when you're in state, it's a different level. It's a high, you're dealing with a different level of everything, really. So you've got to change your mindset. And I had to do that. My whole mindset changed from that local, regional level to state. You have to change your mindset.
That's our experience as well, Rosie, and crisscrossing the country, that women are mobilizing. They're more interested in engaging in the idea that they don't have to have the volunteer positions in the community. They can have the elected positions that sit at the decision-making table. And you know, it's also not lost on me that post the referendum result, Women for Election are seeing a real mobilisation of Indigenous women who are just really focused on getting a voice in Parliament. And I really congratulate you on being the first Indigenous member in the upper house in WA, because that has inspired others, and some you would know and some you don't even realize who you've inspired, but that's the outcome of when we see greater representation in our politics. So thank you for joining us today.
And I just wanted to ask, there was a lady that was at that conference in Cairns, is now the Cairns mayor. She got elected as the Cairns mayor, I hear.
Amy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amy, that's it. Yes, Amy, yes. So
Yeah.
I wanted to find her address so I could contact her and congratulate her, because we was talking about that, you know.
You know, there's a lot of people that were at that conference that ended up getting elected, and yep. So we're going to, and including the event we run in the Torres Strait and the event that we ran in Brisbane. So that's why it's so important that we come and visit you where you're at, because all the amazing women on the ground doing the work, we want them to do the work in politics so that they can have an even greater impact for their community. So
yeah, definitely. I think your program will really inspire them. It was very inspiring, and even for someone as old as me.
Oh, Rosie,
but
PM.
But the young people, the young women here, you'd be surprised. They're very inspiring themselves. So yeah. So,
well, thanks again, Rosie. I just really appreciate your time in what is a very, very busy schedule for you at the moment. So thank you everyone for listening in to today's In Conversation with Rosie Sahanna. And we'll see you again shortly, Rosie.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to it. Thanks for the interview. Thanks. Bye.